Hello and welcome back for another edition of the Central Texas High School Football Webcast. Guys, let's start talking this week just about what's on our minds. Okay.
I'll tell you, I'll start.
Uh-huh.
It's been on my mind for about a month now, and that's AEDs, the defibrillators, the defibrillator that saved Matt Nader's life. It's going to be a big deal next week because the UIL is going to decide whether to make it mandatory for all schools, or maybe high schools, to have a defibrillator, and it's pretty much a slam dunk that they're going to get it done this year.
Yeah. Who do you think gets it done first, though, the UIL or the state?
The UIL will get it done first because they're going to do it next week. The state, it's going to take them until the next session is over, which is in late May.
Cool. I'm thinking about Leander. I said a couple of weeks ago I still liked them to be the pick in 14-5 till somebody beat them, and they came off with a huge win on last Friday against Westwood. Do you think anyone in that district knocks them off, including Cedar Park?
I think that somebody knocks them off because I think last year's Leander team was better than this year's, and they got
lost.
beat.
Yeah.
So I think that the winner of that district is going to have one loss.
That game is last week of the season, November 10th. It's going to be a good one.
And they play Round Rock this week. That's going to be a good one, too.
Absolutely. We'll talk about that later.
I'm thinking about Colleen Ellison, and you might ask why because it's so far away, but that's because they're 5-0, and not only that, but they've beaten a lot of teams. They just beat Bryan. They beat Stony Point, and they beat the Bryan team that beat Leander earlier, and Ellison beat them, and 5-0. Did anybody expect them to be?
Do you think they make it to 6-0 after this week? They're playing consolidated.
I think that we'll find out exactly how good they are this week.
If they go 6-0, maybe we talk about them more next week.
Let's do it.
It's time to hand out some game balls. Name our player of the week. Alan, first game ball going to you. Who's it?
I'm going with one of the best first names in all Central Texas. That's Rooney Davis. Ran for 216 yards against Pflugerville. That's Georgetown's Rooney Davis. And Georgetown got the biggest win in a long, long time, a 30-26 victory over Pflugerville.
Yeah.
And 216 yards. The guys obviously got Georgetown going in the right direction. And, you never know in that district.
Absolutely. I'm going to go a little different route. I'm going with a player from Johnston, my game ball going to. Julius Koger, running back, more than 200 total combined yards, 4 total touchdowns, and the Rams came this close to winning their first game. Lost in overtime to Manor.
What is that, 27 now?
27 straight
27
losses.
straight losses.
Oh, man, that's terrible.
Player of the week, you were at the game.
Player of the week, I was at that game, and it's the big-time guy for Leander High School. It's Josh McKinley, the quarterback, senior. All he did was rush for 200 yards by himself. He passed for 93. He was pretty much a one-man show as far as their offense is concerned. And by the end of the night, you just knew that Leander looked like they were the best team in that district. His leadership skills are tremendous, and no one could tackle him. 200 yards for a quarterback is good at any level.
Don't be so sure. Cedar Park's got quite a defense.
You want to make a bet?
Not yet.
We'll do that off air. We discussed earlier the AEDs and Matt Nader, and we've got Matt Nader coming in for an interview in just a little bit, so we'll go back to him when we come back.
Welcome back to our Central Texas webcast of the week, and we have two very special guests today. I don't think they need an introduction, especially this big guy right here, Matt Nader, the offensive lineman for the Westlake Chaparrals, and his mother, Dr. Barbara Bergen, who the both of them have been in the paper and in the news quite a lot lately. And I think most of you already know why, because of you collapsed in the game about almost a month ago, and so much has happened since. Let me just start from the very beginning. How do you feel right now? I mean, a lot has happened.
Yeah, I feel great. I feel like I can play football. But
so much has happened as far as the attention. If it's not the media asking for interviews, it's the lieutenant governor today. What's it like being the center of attention in something that you obviously didn't want to do a month ago?
I mean, I like it personally because it keeps my mind off of me not being able to play football, even though it'll always be on my mind. But it's just kind of nice having this attention. But also, I realize that I can help other people. I could promote AEDs, and which has already happened, obviously. But I feel like I can do it, and I feel like I can, and I'm willing to do it. So.
Now, when you were first injured and you learned fairly quickly, like 3 days later, that you would probably not play football again, was your reaction at the time, woe is me, because I'm not going to play football again? Or how quickly do you realize, you know what, I'm just happy to be here?
I realized that pretty quick.
Pretty quickly?
And, when they told me I can't play football, I couldn't play football, it affected me, and because I had spent so much time and I had that vision and that dream of that's what I was going to do. My dream was to play professional football.
Correct.
And, I saw me going and playing in Texas and then going and playing professional football. But, when they told me that, I realized that there's so much more to life than football, and what I could make of this. Mm-hmm. And, just turn that frown upside down and, sort of take advantage of this opportunity to help other people.
Right, and you're doing so. Dr. Bergen, let me ask you, it's been such a whirlwind the last 4 weeks. What's it been like, and have you been able to even digest exactly all that's happened, because you've been on the go every single day?
Well, the first week or 2 weeks were pretty intense. I mean, we kind of had to put on our game face, and we also had to put on our doctor face, because my husband and I are both physicians. We have patients that we needed to see, and it really helped us in a way to get back to work and start seeing patients and focusing on other people's problems. And but we really have absorbed it, and we talk a lot with each other about how we feel, and I think Matt's recovery and his personal what's the word for it? His positive attitude has really helped us all to get through this.
And one of the things that this incident has done is it's raised an awareness, not just for defibrillators by themselves, but just for the hearts in general when it comes to athletics. Can you talk about what it means to you that it looks like defibrillators may become standard for every school coming up pretty soon?
That's a pretty amazing thing, really. I think there are a lot of organizations out there that have been promoting this for a long time, and they have been getting donations for defibrillators at schools that don't have them, and they've been talking to different legislative bodies and the UIL, and it just seems that all of these organizations have come together along with Matt to really put a push for this, and it's going to happen. The Lieutenant Governor said today it is going to happen, and I feel confident that he is going to get the funding for it.
Right, it's going to happen.
Right.
Matt, let me ask you, University of Texas, you're going to go there anyway, you're going to be on scholarship. What are some of the things that you're going to be doing? You're not going to be playing football, but it's not like you're going to be sitting around doing nothing.
Right. Well, I've talked to Coach McWhorter, the offensive line coach at the University of Texas, about some of the things that I can do, and he'd like me to be on the field during practice and helping with the offensive line, because he has all 5 of them, or all 10 of them, however many offensive linemen they have together. He just has them personally, and he needs somebody to help him, with this, that, or the other. I'm not quite sure what the particulars are, but that's what he would personally would like me to do. I could also help with Cleve Bryant, who's head of football operations there.
Right.
Help him with recruiting, breaking down film, help him with film. There's various different things that they would like me to do. They have mentioned to me.
Well, I can say you've been an inspiration to many people. People have been calling our office, people have been calling you, and in the long run, this is going to generate some very positive things. And starting with the UIL, they're going to meet next week and probably decide to get defibrillators for everybody.
That's the goal.
So congratulations on everything you've done, and I got a feeling these guys are going to make it just fine.
Right.
You may have thought the story of the week last week was Leander's big win over Westwood, but it actually was Alan Trudeau barely holding on to his overall picks lead. It's now down to 2 games, and that leads us into this week's picks for our 3 high school games of the week. First one we've got up is LBJ and McCallum battle for the district title in 17-4A Thursday night.
Elgin might have something to say about that, but they're still undefeated. But I'm going to go with McCallum. I see no reason why they're going to lose this game or any game in district play. They've got the leading rusher in 4A and Marcus Mann, and they're rolling.
LBJ's scoring more than 40 points a week the last 4 weeks. Does that change anything for your pick?
Well, they're still in that same district with all the other teams. I think these are easily the 2 best teams in the district. But saying that, I think McCallum's better than LBJ. They'll win by a touchdown or 2.
I'll go with McCallum as well. Second game, a big one on Friday night, Leander and Round Rock. You know I'm picking with staying with Leander. How about you guys?
I'm going with Leander just because of what I saw the other day. I mean, they're very tough. I think they might lose 1 game before it's all said and done, but it's not going to be this week.
No, come on, guys. Leander? I mean, Round Rock's got Marcus Jackson, who's already rushed for 626 yards. They got Brent Hotard, who's one of the passing leaders. And with that being said, I'm going with Leander. I totally agree with you. Totally agree with you.
Fantastic. Last game we've got is a huge showdown in 18-3A. Hutto and Cameron Yo. Hippos state-ranked. Cameron Yo, the preseason pick to win that district. How do we see it?
I'm going with the Hippos. I'm going with Shiloh Wampler and Jeremy Curley, and I'm sticking with them.
Yeah, I am too. I think even though it's a road game, I think they've got the best talent in that district. I'm going to go with Hutto.
Hutto it is. Yo has got a good team, but it's led by basically one player, Brian Scott. Outstanding quarterback, but he doesn't get enough support. Jeremy Curley with Hutto, he gets a little bit more support. I can see Hutto running away with this one.
All right. Next week we'll try to come up with some games where we'll actually differ with each other. But in the meantime, you can get online at statesman.com/pick'em and match your wits against us. We'll see how we do.
I'm only 18 games behind now.
You're 18 back with a bullet.
Just where you should be.
We'll catch you next week.